All right, episode 127. We're back, Rob.
127. It feels like we just did 126.
It feels like that,
right?
Yeah. It's
feels like almost no time has passed since we did 126.
I know. It does feel like these things are coming faster and more furious.
That's right.
I have never seen a single Faster and Furious movie. Does that make me less culturally pop relevant or whatever?
I mean, well, it is weird.
Fast and the Furious. Because there's like 10 of these bastards now.
The weird thing is that you are two-term president of the Vin Diesel fan club, yet you haven't seen the Fast and Furious franchise.
Well, I watch Pitch Black every single month.
Oh, well, okay. All right.
All right. So I
haven't either, for the record.
You haven't seen a single one?
No.
I don't even. I mean, there's the guy that died, racing
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been in.
I don't care about the subject of the movie.
I know, but we've got Momoa's been in these. I mean, everybody's been in these things, you know.
Yeah.
So, I know of them. I know generally enough. You know, Ludacris, right? But like,
Luda's in them. That's right.
But you know, I can't say that I've watched. I will say, Curbs and I just watched all 4 Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh,
okay. Like the newer ones.
Yeah.
You know, I had to Google which order to watch them in because they're all named weird. I'm going to throw this out there. Surprisingly good. Okay. You know, the first one's James Franco, and it's kind of how.
I don't know that I've seen it.
Well, obviously you're familiar with the 1960s.
Well,
Charlton
I've seen
Heston,
the old ones,
right.
But I don't think I've seen any of the new.
Then there was one in the early 2000s with Mark Wahlberg, right? Okay. And I think it was Tim Burton. I think I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me.
Mark and the Monkey Bunch?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like I'm an astronaut. I went into a wormhole and boom, I came back into an alternate reality Earth.
Where it's all apes.
Where it's all apes. Okay.
Right.
Well, all the new reboot is it's pre-COVID, and it's a surprise to no one. Shocker. Spoiler alert. Watch out, everybody, from a movie from 10 years ago, 2014. It's a virus. It's a virus.
Yeah.
It is basically the first movie is, I'm going to ruin this for everyone, is James Franco. His dad is played by John Lithgow, who has Alzheimer's.
John Lithgow?
Okay. And he works as a geneticist at this San Francisco laboratory, and he's working on the cure for Alzheimer's. And basically he creates this serum, okay, that inadvertently or purposely, I don't know, ends up making these chimpanzees smarter. They just have better functions. Okay, right. Well,
they take over.
You know, disaster ensues. Yeah. We end up with a simian flu. Something happens. It screws up humanity. Right. Meanwhile, the apes are getting smarter. I mean, that's so there's no time travel. There's no whatever. Anyway, first 3 movies, totally badass. It's surprisingly good. And then I mean it's. At the end there, you've got chimps that are talking, riding horseback, shooting guns.
That's too much.
But it is a little too much. The 4th movie, suspect.
Now,
but the way it gets there, it's surprisingly heartfelt. You know, I would say. So this is not the podcast I thought we were going to start here.
I feel like having not seen those movies, I feel like, and I would be curious to see if you agree. Are those better to see in the theater?
I don't know that it matters. I think that
because I'm picturing Jurassic Park.
Yeah, we've got some kick-ass. Who's the guy that played Gollum? Who's the guy that's like he's the behind-the-scenes actor who wears the suit.
Yeah, I'm not going to come up with his name.
Andy Serkis.
Okay.
That's his name. I think his name's Andy Serkis.
I don't know.
Anyway, he does all of the animation stuff for the apes, for like the main ape, whose name is Caesar.
Okay.
I mean, the animation's great, but we've all got like 50-inch televisions that have like kick-ass sound.
We basically have theaters in our houses.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it better in a theater? Maybe. You know, I mean, probably, you know. But also, like, do we really need to go to the theater to watch, like, Planet of the Apes? Like, I don't know. It's not high on my list. I'm going to go blow a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like,
I can tell you, me personally, if I'm going to watch Planet of the Apes, I'm going to go see it in the theater.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to watch it at home.
I hate to break it to you, but it left theaters 10 years ago.
Damn it.
So, yeah. Well, we didn't come here to talk about Planet of the Apes, even though you've got all 4 movies on Hulu right now. Stream them, baby. You know? Do a little
ape marathon.
Quadruple feature, or whatever that is. No, in our last episode 126, we had made a reference about your friend who has the daughter going to school, animation, and the topic of AI. Now, AI we've talked about like, God, 10 times. I mean, 100 times. We're probably never going to stop talking about it, right? But we might as well circle back around to that topic because we kind of foreshadowed it a little bit. And I had seen this quote on Blue Sky. I'm a big Blue Sky guy. Love Blue Sky as my Twitter replacement, right? Since that's a Nazi bar, but that's another conversation.
You mean X?
Yeah, X. Excuse me, X Twitter. We should call it. So the note goes like this: the bizarre idea that creative people need to use machines to help them come up with ideas and do creative stuff and generate inspiration is batshit. No, that's what non-creative people do. Creative people have trouble dealing with the excess of ideas. And then the snarky line, similarly, cows buy very little milk. Right? So, my thought was, wow, I agree with that. Like, we've got AI and we're talking about, hey, is this an industry I should go in? My daughter's the thing. Are the machines going to take over? Are the robots going to do my job for like, blah, 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 And I'm like, no, BS. Like, it's a tool in the toolbox, just like, ads existed before we had computers, you know what I mean? And Adobe, right? I mean, images happened before we had scanners, things like that, right? I mean, AI is definitely a little freaky, a little wacky. It's kind of going a little crazy, Some of it works, most of it doesn't, right? But it's a tool and it's not going to replace. It can't come up with the ideas for you, I don't think, right? If I painted a broad brush there.
So. We were talking a little bit about how, how people use it, why they use it specific to our industry. And my own personal feeling is, and then we can talk about it more broadly, but I will use it sometimes as almost as a research tool, right? So if I'm concepting something, and I think the example I was thinking about was, if I need a monument, right? I need some unique monument around an idea that I'm thinking about. I might go to it and say, hey, what are the 20 most famous monuments? Or just to give me a list of resources to then help further that idea. But
quick
I think
research.
To your point, the idea was mine.
Yeah.
I'm now just using it as a research tool to help accentuate that idea.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And I know that, sometimes here in the shop, it's good for, I have the idea. I need an image of this, or I need a landscape of this or something. And then it can help you generate something that you then take and craft into the final thing. But to your point, it is not the impetus for an idea.
Yeah. I think I kind of think about AI in three pieces, and here's what I mean by that.
But there's only two letters.
Well, I'm going to split the A in half.
Oh.
We've got the language-based version of AI, right?
Sure.
We're not sitting around going, write me 10 headlines for
ad.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. I mean, I'm sure other people are. I mean, that ties into the quote.
Absolutely.
The quote of not like
people are absolutely doing that.
Yeah. But like that quote that I read, right?
Clients are doing that.
Clients are doing
Agencies
that.
aren't doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, God, I hope agencies.
I hope not. I'm sure some are, but
anyway, like first prong of the three prongs is language-based AI research. Text-based. Hey, I need to write a paragraph, or I need a blog about whatever, right? Then you've got the image-based, right? Like, hey, I need, make up an image of this for me. That type of thing, right? Then you've got extension of image in terms of like production. That's what I mean. So like the second two are kind of the same, right? So like I've used AI recently on, hey, I need an image of a Ferris wheel to comp something for somebody. Right? I just need an image of a Ferris wheel, right? In the old days, you would draw a Ferris wheel and then get a client to approve it, and then some amazing artist would like create that image of a Ferris wheel, you know what I mean? And then there's your ad, right?
Or you go to Shutterstock and find the thing.
Then the next version is what we've been doing for the past 10, 15 years is like, you go to your online stock places, your Getty Images. I need to find a Ferris wheel, hey, here's an image of a Ferris wheel. And then I buy that image. We license it, we use it in the ad, whatever like that, right? Well, now it's, I know I need a Ferris wheel, but I don't like any of the images that I see available. Can I have, these magical machines create an image of a Ferris wheel specifically at the angle that I'm looking, and it kind of does it, but here's what it does. It does it well enough for a comp for a client about something.
To help express an idea.
To help express an idea. But again, to your point, visually that idea is already decided
you've already got the idea.
Bias.
You're using it as a
exactly. And then that third thing, a lot of times is just a technical aspect is, hey, I've got this client provided image that's crappy quality. We don't, clients don't know anything about resolution. And
I need more room.
and so it's, we will use AI to up-res an image to be able to print somewhere or to extend the sky or to extend the field or what, you know what I mean? We've done all that sort of stuff, you know. So that's more production based, you know. But man, it's bad. It is. I mean, it's the quote I like to use that I heard recently is mediocrity is the new excellence. It's like everybody loves it, but we look at it and go, like it did it, yes, but it's not done correctly. Like still handcrafted is the best way to do it. But in a pinch, you know, you can do that for client comps and things like that, right? So for me, AI is kind of a different. I use it 3 different ways, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Here's the deal. It's an amazing, incredible, terrifying, awesome new technology.
Yeah.
And it is
quasi works
outside of the context of our little bubble of creative and advertising.
Yeah.
It will do amazing things in healthcare and in a lot of industries outside of helping to make pretty pictures and write things. It just will.
Sure.
It's interesting now, and it's new. It's brand new. We've got this shiny tool. It's interesting just hearing the different stances that people in our industry are taking. And the example, we were actually talking about this in the office earlier today, was, you know, Adobe, the premier creative platform, right?
Software
for
platform.
software in our industry. They're all in. They're fully embraced it. It's now embedded and incorporated into all of their software. You know,
that pot is committed.
That pot is committed. By contrast, Procreate, which is also a tremendously popular piece of software for creatives, has taken a very, very hard line. Absolutely. I mean, it is on their homepage. It is FAI, basically. Yeah. We will never chase technology to do a human job. Here's the thing.
Long dramatic pause.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think how to say this.
I like it.
Here's the thing. AI isn't going anywhere.
No, we're stuck with it.
It will be here, and it will either be a tool that you embrace or you don't, I suppose.
Sure.
My analogy was, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's the first one that came to mind, was the iPhone. And it was, now we have movies being shot on iPhone, and everybody is an amazing photographer all of a sudden.
Don't tell my dad. He's having a heart attack.
Yeah, and it's, did the iPhone kill some photographers' businesses? 100% yes. Are there still amazing photographers in the world?
Absolutely.
Of course there are.
Absolutely.
And AI is going to do the same thing. It's going to be here whether we like it or not. Hopefully we will, you know, sooner rather than later figure out regulations around what you can and can't do in terms of ownership and licensing, and that's a whole different ball of wax with it.
Yeah.
But I think as a creative, my opinion, you better embrace it one way or the other, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Is my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The Adobe stance is really interesting. I mean, they've had us captivated as an audience, you know, for 30 years.
Yeah.
For 30 years, every single advertising agency, every single design firm, everybody is, bam, we are hooked on Adobe. Shoot it in my veins. We've been drinking the Adobe Kool-Aid for 30 years, right? Well, you know, now we've got Canva and all these other weird little graphic programs that you don't need to know the complexities of Adobe.
Right.
You know, like the learning curve on Photoshop at one point, I think they said was like 16 months, you know? I mean, it's like, because it's so damn complex, and you can do each function 3 different ways. Like, you want to add a drop shadow to something, there's like 20 different ways to do it. Right. You know, like it is a very robust tool. Not everybody needs that, right? Some people just want prettier PowerPoints or prettier presentations, right? They don't want to learn the whole thing, you know. Yeah. So, oh my God, they clearly saw Canva starting to eat some of their lunch, and it's like, oh, hey, everybody, we can do simple stuff too. You know, and they're literally running commercials. It's like, put a unicorn in this photo, and
of course they are.
You know, erase your ex-husband from this. You know what I mean? So all of us were like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, they're kind of like turning their back on image professionals, kind of, sort of. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Yeah. You know, they need to evolve as a company too. They can't become the best buggy whip maker. But it is interesting that they're all in. And to your point about Procreate, there's a lot of like software for artists that is like, no, we support humans. Yeah. You know, that type of thing. So there is a line in the sand.
You know, and you're right in that for a long time, decades and decades and decades, Photoshop and Illustrator and these they were very, very specialized pieces of software.
Yeah.
It makes sense that over time they're like, wait a minute. If we can get more people to use our software,
need more people.
Our business our shareholders will be very happy.
Totally.
And with the introduction of AI, it makes sense that they made that decision. They said, you know what, we're going for more people.
Yeah, and all of us had a full-blown conniption when they went subscription. And guess what? We all paid for the subscription and we still use it. You know, like it's what we need to do.
We're cursing them a lot more than we used to, certainly.
For sure. But yeah, it's a weird, you know, so anyway, I think, you know, just trying to dovetail off of that previous conversation you had with your friend's daughter, right? In terms of like,
I don't think our industry should feel threatened by it.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah. I think and I think the answer is different. You know, you mentioned healthcare and other things. I mean, computers were created for computations. I mean, again, I'm simplifying history here, but it's kind of like computers were made to do math, right? Math is hard and do computations. I mean, you know, now we're on the graphic side, which is it's full blown evolution of all sorts of different things, you know. So, you know, is there a way for AI to simplify computations and predictive analysis? Of course there is. You know what I mean? And in different industries, it's going to crush it, you know?
Yeah.
For our industry, I'd say we're very, very, very far behind in terms of it, like working successfully. And then I think to your point about, you know, there's all the lawsuits of intellectual rights and things like that. You know, that'll be very interesting. And it is interesting, not to get totally boring here, but like, you know, all the movie studios banding together,
right?
Sony, Disney, you know, Paramount, everybody coming together to file lawsuits for intellectual property. You know, that has weight to it, and that'll be interesting to see what happens to the image. Based, you know, like, you know, because it is, you know, it is that, and we do actually have court rulings saying that anything created by a computer cannot be copywritten because it wasn't made by humans.
Correct.
Right? You know. So, well, I mean, if we were in the music industry right now, I'd be freaking out way more than we would be, you know, because
they're going to tell you now, the AI companies, that they own it.
Yeah.
Because their software generated it.
Exactly.
And then you got a whole slew of problems.
Yeah, but, write me a song in the style of blah, 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 blah with these verses. And then it's like, oh, okay, great. Like that, you know, like, I mean,
the problem is you know, it's not where it needs to be. But if you look at an image generated.
But it's good enough.
Look at an image generated, you know, out of AI a year ago versus now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's exponentially better.
Yeah.
And the problem is, these days technology moves so fast that we humans and our court systems and things can't keep up with as fast as it goes. So we're just chasing the technology to figure out how to manage it and harness it and wrangle it.
Well, Mike and I think did a podcast many, many moons ago about AI, and I was making the joke that it's so broken that, remember, it kept adding fingers to people.
It still can't do it.
It doesn't do fingers. But then criminals, you could buy on eBay, you could buy online, like rings that had an extra finger, so that as a criminal, you could go out and commit crimes wearing 6 fingers or 7 fingers, and then you could claim in court, oh, no, that's not me, that's AI.
That's not me.
You know, and I was like, oh my God, cricriminals don't know about.
It still has a problem with hands. I don't understand.
Hands are still messed up.
Why are hands so messed up?
Hey man, you ever try to draw a hand?
You don't want to see me draw any. You've seen my drawings.
Yeah. Drawing
They're
hands,
stick figure.
Drawing hands is hard, man. Hands and feet, man, they're hard to draw. So I think they're hard to draw for computers too. You know?
I guess so.
But, you know, yeah, I mean, it's that joke that's going around, you know, the other day was how many R's are in strawberry, you know, and no AI program can tell you the right number. And it's like, you know, why can't it figure out prime numbers?
So weird.
There are all these things that I'm not smart enough to understand why it doesn't work, but, you know, a lot of times it really doesn't work. But, you know, it's going to get you 30, 40, 50% there, but you still need a human to bring it home. You know?
Well, I'm trying to remember the anecdote. I think it was like a year ago, and I was telling you about I think it was a 60 Minutes report where the robots taught the robots another language without humans telling the robots to teach the robots language. And it was like, whoa. Yeah. It was a real like, oh my God, the robots are taking over.
Well, I don't even want to know what Boston Dynamics is doing with like, you know,
Lord,
the robot army dogs and God knows whatever else, you know. So
Lord help us.
I need that AI to work because I don't want to, we don't want Judgment Day here, right? T2 special. So
Anyway, AI, I'm sure we'll talk about it again. Yeah. It's ever evolving.
Give us another 10 episodes and we'll talk about AI, So, and robots, we love you. So
we love robots.
Even though my wife always says please to Siri and I always tell Siri the F word.
I don't use...
The robots are coming for me first,
I don't use the robot. Yeah. I use Siri.
I call her names.
Or Alexa.
I tell her she's dumb. I do all sorts of horrible things to her. And,
does she say that's not nice? Or does she do anything?
No. She just doesn't say anything, which makes me even angrier. And I'm like, answer the damn question. I'm in the car right now. I can't, it's so silly. So. Anyway, all right. Where can the robots find us online?
They already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, mocktheagency.com, or you can email Don at mocktheagency.com.
Here we go again. Yeah, please.
Often.
More emails. Often. I need more emails in my life.
Yeah, just this morning he was like, I don't get enough emails.
I know.
I wish people would start spamming me.
I went 30 seconds without, more unsubscribe buttons coming my way. So.
Or find us on the socials. Yeah. We're there hanging out as always, and we will talk to you for 128.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.